Hey, what's up everyone? Professor Danny and Alex. In this tutorial, we're going to be looking at some basic submission attacks such as chokes and arm bars that you can do from both the mount and back control positions in Jiu-Jitsu. All right, first, we're going to be looking at the most basic technique we have to choke the neck, which is the cross collar choke. All right, so number one, we're going to insert our palm using the palm up towards the ceiling inside his collar. Okay, once we're here now, I'm going to post my hand on the same direction so I don't get tipped over in this direction. And now, to elevate the neck off the mat, what I'm going to do is post my elbow onto his chest. So watch here. Now I have my tight grip. The moment I bring the elbow down, it creates a lot of tension and pulls the head off the mat. So once I'm here now, look, this arm is going to come across and from here, trap on the opposite side of his gi. All right, now notice how I'm going to lean into the choke. One. And finalize the cross collar choke. All right, so it's important when we practice this technique to have the ridge bone, all right, the edge of your wrist, okay, that's what we refer to as the knife portion, if you will, against the neck on one side, and then the outer side of my wrist on the opposite side right here. So if the first grip is inserted correctly, you won't have to work twice as hard for the second grip. A lot of times people struggle finalizing a basic cross collar choke, and it's simply because the first grip wasn't in deep enough. Okay, so now you end up choking or trying to choke with your fingers, which is not as effective as your wrist. All right, so if the first grip is in deep, the second grip doesn't need to work as hard. Okay, so one more time, look, we're gonna insert the hand nice and deep against the collar. Notice how the wrist bone is against the neck. All right, once I'm here, a nice little trick again, post your elbow onto his chest. That elevates the head. Now I can circle my elbow around him, and now it's almost like I give him a quick shave. Boom. Now I ensure that the wrist is against the neck, and then I lean into it and finalize the choke. Now we're going to look at a small little tip if someone doesn't let you put the hand inside. All right, so for example, I'm trying to put this here, but now he knows, so he has his hands against the neck. All right, so both arms, both wrists are in parallel position against the tips of his lapel. So I can't even insert my hand here. So a lot of times you want to go for this choke and the hands are protected here. So now a very easy tip is you just grab here. All right, so what I like to do is just put pressure and I keep pushing his own wrist against his body. And that's going to give him that resistance. Every time you push, the person's going to try to resist a little bit, right? They get nervous. They're wondering what you're going to do, maybe an arm bar coming up. So I just like to grab the wrist from here. Now, every time you're keeping their mind against something they might think is getting attacked, they're not thinking of escaping just yet. So as you grab the wrist here, as he gives resistance, you just pull the hand up, and now you can insert the hand inside the gi. Super easy trick, all right? So one more time, look, here, I'm trying to go for that first technique. I can't get the space to insert the hand. I'm just gonna grab the wrist, pull it up, and now from here, my hand goes right into position. And now I go back to my position we showed earlier, post the elbow in, go around, and then from there, finalize my position. Now, one tip about this is you're probably wondering, why do you post the head onto the mat? Simple. Two reasons. Number one is it will prevent you from getting tipped over. All right, so if you keep your head up in the air as you're choking, now my head is up and he bridges me off, I'll turn over. All right, so that's a basic trap and roll. Now, if I keep my head down, I prevent that position from happening. Number two is it will create more pressure. If I try to keep the choke here and my head is up, there's only so far I can go to put pressure. Now I end up having to flare my elbows out, which is ineffective. By keeping the elbows in and bringing my body weight on top of the pressure, creates so much more tension onto his neck, forces the tap. So once here, once we put the hand inside the neck and the other one comes across, now it's super tight, but the moment I bring my head to the mat, I'll create so much more pressure to force the opponent to tap. Okay, next one is a basic armbar attack. All right, so I'm gonna show you a small trick. Everyone knows when the person pushes your chest, how to spin around. Everyone who does jiu-jitsu, basic jiu-jitsu will learn this in their own academies. But now I'm gonna show you a small little tip to catch the armbar when the person has his arms tight like this, all right? So now, once our hands are posted onto the mat, we're going to choose one side to attack the arm. So say, for example, this is the arm you want to attack. We're going to go underhook underneath the armpit right here. And we're going to crawl our fingers all across to flare his elbow out. If you notice now, his elbow is parallel to his ear. So it's at a 90 degree, which makes his arm very weak. I'll use the same hand and come across the face, and I'll grab the collar on the opposite side. All right, just make a nice grip right onto his own lapel right here. Once we have this now, it's super snug, and now there's no way he can bring his arm out. But on top, to make sure I secure everything, watch how I'm gonna slide my knee. So I'm gonna keep the grip here, post my hand to the mat, slide my knee up against the head. All right, now when I pull him in, it's super tight, and I can use my body to keep control of his elbow, okay? Now my back foot, you'll notice it's at the same height of his hip. I wanna bring my foot underneath this armpit as well. So what I'm gonna do is post my body up. So I'm gonna post onto my toes behind me, but also drive my hips off the mat. So now I can bring my knee up, okay? Now I use my hips to control the elbow. Now this free hand will trap his wrist right here and grab onto my own lapel. So notice how I'll grab the lapel right here. Now this controls the wrist, and now I'll transfer my body weight over the head, let go of the collar only once I have a seat, pinch my knees together, and finalize the armbar. So one more time, we have the mount position. I'm gonna scoot the elbow up here, come across the neck, and grab onto his own lapel. Okay, now this hand will serve as a post so I can slide my knee in this area right here. So once I'm here, I drag myself up, boom. Now I keep everything tucked in, okay? Now I'll bring my foot in tight, post onto the back foot, trap his wrist. I try to bring his pinky to my upper body right here, connected to my chest, okay? And I can drive my leg across. Once I'm here, I let go of the collar and attack the arm. Now the most common defense to defend the armbar is going to be to go palm to palm. All right, so this is what it looks like. Every time we go for the armbar, just from here, the elbow might bend and he might trap his hands like this. So once I'm in position to attack the arm, you end up with the armbar, and then people fall over and then they try to tug at the elbow joint. And here, that's ineffective. So in order to prevent this, what we're gonna do is, using the same setup, is I'm gonna show you a nice tip which will prevent the grip to defend the armbar. So once we're here and we trap the collar right here. Now we slide up, and now once I bring the arm in, I wanna always trap at the wrist. So now even if he goes palm to defend, if I trap at the wrist, notice how the arm is already extended here. So now when I fall back, this arm that's defending the arm lock is very weak. So watch how I just break the grip by just tugging here and then steal the arm. I'm going to show you another one of my favorite armbar attacks, or arm lock attacks, for the shoulder, which is referred to as the Americana. All right, when I first started Jiu-Jitsu, this was called the figure 4 or the key lock. All right, so here we're going to use the same setup. Many ways to attack it. Sometimes we'll show it like this, or we just bring all of the body weight to pin the arm at a 90 onto the floor. Today, I'm going to show you guys the same setup where I scooted the elbow up right here. All right, so if he's tight, protecting maybe the choke, we have this trick right here. Now we're gonna use the second trick where we just scoot the elbow up and bring the arm at a 90 degrees. Once I'm here, look, I'm just gonna go over, push the face, trap the wrist, and now connect my hands together. On the far side, I'll make a grapevine onto his leg and attack the shoulder lock, also known as the Americana. All right, so one more time on this setup. We have the mount position, okay? Maybe your arm is here, holding him here tight. Scoot the elbow up, 1. Trap the wrist, trap your own wrist. Slight variation from the first version. We go over, and now from here, boom. Now I want to talk about some basic cross-collar chokes from the back control, all right? So if you're starting out in Jiu-Jitsu, very important to know how to finish from the back, okay? So we have our seatbelt control, which simply means one arm is over the shoulder and the other one is underneath his armpit, and now we're trapping our own hands like this. Just 5 fingers, monkey grip onto your own wrist bone. Now from here, we have the back control. What we're gonna do is elevate the chin right off the bat. So look, I'm just gonna scoot up, so now his chin is up and his neck is exposed. I'm going to use the underhook side to peel his lapel open. Now I'm going to insert here nice and tight. So sometimes you just tug to make sure there's no slack, and now put the thumb inside that lapel. Now on this side, I'm just going to reach for the opposite jacket right here, and then as I fall into the side here, I'll start to extend to finalize the cross-collar choke. Now one quick tip on this is you don't want to grab here. Now if you notice, there's a lot of slack here. Now, once I get to here, I'm going to have to tug too far. A lot of slack here. Like in the first technique, we want to be against the neck. So once you grab the lapel, you lift here, your hand is already in position. So take the slack off and give it here. Now it's super snug. There's no slack. When you go for the far side underneath your own arm, it's super tight. So from here, when I lean into the choke, 1 and 2, finalize. Now on the same token, sometimes when we attack the neck from this position, we can also use this arm to help with the choke. So if his arm is tight holding my wrist and I can't reach here, maybe he grabs his own jacket and peels this away because he knows what I'm trying to do. I like to bring this arm behind his neck right from here. And this is referred to as a single wing choke. And now we're gonna fall into the choke in the same manner from here and extend to finalize. Now, quick tip, once we get to here, don't try to bring the arm across like this because he's gonna be pulling down. So now it's hard for me. So if he's resisting here and your arm is stuck, a nice little trick, bring your palm towards your face and point the thumb on the outside towards the elbow. From here, makes it very weak, and now easily swim across. Now these fingers are gonna snake their way through behind his head right here. So notice how I bring this hand across the face. You can see my fingers on the opposite side, and now when I fall into the choke, I push and pull to finalize. All right, guys, so there you have it. Some basic submission attacks, chokes, and arm bars you can do if you're starting out in Jiu-Jitsu with some slight variations to help you out attain those techniques. Hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Leave us a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe if you're new here, and we'll see you
in the next video.
Take care.